Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Halton Hills housing update. So I'm sorry I've missed a few weeks. Summer is always a little sporadic with these updates, so bear with me. I will try and get on here as much as possible to keep you updated on what's happening in the market. So we have June's numbers today, and they are not really great. I mean, I'm not surprised. June was not like the hottest month. It felt like there was moments of busy, but overall the numbers have come in and we are down. So looking at June of last year, our average price was $1,011,000. This year we are down to $975,000. So we're down just over 3.5%. So it's not that dramatic. And like I've been saying, most months, we really have been sitting between 1 and 1.1 million for it's almost 2 years now. And so our pricing to go to 975 is not that big of a drop. This is not the first month this year that we have been under that million mark. So we'll just have to see if this trend continues or if we pick back up or if our prices are really softening. It does feel like on some products prices are softening, and then other things you're like, oh, okay, well that has held its value. So it's really hit or miss. The big thing that we have dropped in is units. So we are down over 30%. Last year there was 90 units sold and we only had 62. This is still up from earlier this year when we were around the 40 range. So we have seen sales fundamentally pick up in 2026. So when we're looking at the sales, only 20 homes sold over $1 million. So that means the far majority of homes that we sold in June were under $1 million. And there was quite a few under 800,000. I want to say it was 16 or 17 units under 800,000. All of these things are keeping our prices down. We are seeing very few sales over $1 million, and there was only 3 sales over 1.5 million. So that higher price point that sometimes pulls our average pricing up, we saw virtually no units sell in that pocket. So that's sort of an explanation as to why we're seeing that average price really softening, is we are just not seeing any big ticket products moving at the moment. In Georgetown this week, we only had 6 sales. That is not a lot of sales, but we are sort of in that transition into summer and people were away because of Canada Day. So I'm hoping that's sort of just a slow week. It would be nice to continue to see sort of those double-digit sales. We did have 11 new listings, so we are still seeing listings hitting the market, and we really need to see that slow down. Acton this week only had 1 sale, which is very low, and 1 new listing, so it's good news there that inventory is slowing down. And in Glen Williams and the rural market, there was no sales and 1 new listing in each. And then when we're looking at properties coming off the market, we did have 11 properties exit the market. So that really, you think about where inventory would be if those 11 didn't exit, very high. And we had 9 properties relist and adjust lower on pricing. So looking at where we're sitting in active inventory, and we really are now, we're at our saturated number. This is close to as high as we've ever seen in Halton Hills. So we're at 286 active listings in all of Halton Hills. That is very high. If we didn't have those 11 properties come off the market, we would be sitting close to 300 units right now. It's a lot of houses on the market. Looking at Georgetown, we are at 166. The highest I've ever seen is 170. So we are very much at that top point. It's not great, especially because of the low amount of sales we're seeing. Looking at price points, under 800,000 is at 27. That has slowly been climbing, but nothing crazy. 800 to $1 million is up from 42 to 50 from my last update. So we are seeing a climb in that price point. 1 to 1.5 million is sitting at 65. There's so many houses available in that pocket. It is very hard to transact a property in that pocket right now. When we look at what we're selling on a week-to-week basis, in Georgetown, we're selling 6 properties. Last week, only 1 was over $1 million, and you've got 65 houses sitting there. That is so many months of inventory. We are in a bit of a situation. And 1.5 million plus is up to 24. So we've seen a big jump in that price point since my last update too. And that price point is really not moving. I mean, like we think 1 to 1.5 is bad, like 1.5 plus, it's just like, oh boy, there is very, very little sales over 1.5 million. And looking at Acton this week, they're up to 36. So we are almost hitting our top that we've seen in Acton. It's very saturated there. Glen Williams is sitting at 7. So not a ton of inventory in Glen Williams, which is surprising considering what's happening on our overall market. And in the rural market this week, we are at, ready for this, 77 active units in the rural market. I've never seen it over 70. That is a crazy, crazy number for the rural market. What's even more crazy is usually rural, we are seeing $1 million plus properties, and that's why they're sort of not moving. But we have 11 properties under $1 million in the rural market, and just nothing is selling. So this is where we feel the pinch in the overall market, because even properties that normally would sell, like rural under $1 million, usually transacts fairly well. We have 11 of those available. So when you're a seller on the market right now, you need to pack your patience because you are not alone. Like I said, in Georgetown, 6 sales, but 65 of you between $1 and $1.5 million. We are just not seeing that movement that we need to see for this to not feel like a really bad market. So normally the summer we see inventory slow down, and that really helps because we see things bought up through the summer. But if we keep getting these high double-digit new listings every single week, we're not going to be putting ourselves in a good position for this fall market. We could be in a position where we see record highs in our overall market. So I was so hopeful that 2026 would not be this way, but we are in not a great position. And I mean, interest rates are great. There's a lot of great products. Oh, it's so crazy how bad the market is right now. So it is what it is. We're just riding this wave, and one of these days our market will turn around again. But I'm not sure that's going to be in 2026. I will be back when I can this summer with a market update. Have a great week, everyone.